Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. So what is going on with Mike Matthews? The confusion that I have seen throughout the course of the day. I wanted to jump on here, make another video because we have a former Vol commit that has entered the transfer portal. We're going to get into that and talk about it in just a second. But I want to clarify on Mike Matthews because there seems to be so much confusion about whether or not Mike Matthews is in the transfer portal. Now, what is causing that confusion? Well, you can see this tweet. Code Orange puts it out, says, I may have jumped the gun using 247 Sports for Mike Matthews news yesterday. You can see right here from 247 Sports, and this is what I continue to see. Boogie, you have no idea what you're talking about. Mike Matthews is in the transfer portal. You go to 247 Sports, it shows that he was entered on January the 1st. That is impossible for him to be entered on January the 1st because the school was closed on January the 1st. Therefore, they could not submit the paperwork for Matthews to enter the portal. So what does that mean? Let's rewind time. Let's go back to December the 28th. The final hour, the portal closes at midnight. What happens? We see the tweet from Hayes Fawcett at 20 minutes after the hour. After midnight, 12:20 a.m., Mike Matthews has announced his intentions to enter the transfer portal. Now, what does that mean? Again, the portal closes at midnight. So sometime prior to midnight, he informed the University of Tennessee of his intentions to enter the portal. Now, what happens from there? They have to get paperwork to him. Mike Matthews has to fill out that paperwork. What he also has to do is sit down and watch a video on the transfer portal. From there, he has to turn all that information into the university. And at that time, the University of Tennessee has 48 hours to submit all of those documents into the NCAA to put Mike Matthews into the portal. So the question that we don't know is, when did Matthews turn in that information? Now, here's where it gets a little bit more convoluted. Not only was the university closed on January the 1st, they were also closed on December the 31st. So there were 2 days there that they were closed. So everybody thought the news was going to break today. It was going to come out that Mike Matthews was officially in the portal. However, he is not. Why do you say that? How do you know that? Go to on3.com. He's not listed. Go anywhere else. He's not listed. For some reason, 247 Sports has him in the portal. Now, do I think Mike Matthews enters the transfer portal? Yeah, I do, 100%. I think Mike Matthews is going to go in tomorrow. Austin Price gave us some clarification on this timeline. He put on VolQuest. He said, I've made some calls to get full clarity because there has been so much confusion on when Mike will enter. Let's just pause there. So you want to argue with me whether or not he's in? Austin Price says so much confusion on when he will enter. Not that he's in, not that he's not. He goes on to say he finished his responsibilities on Monday or Tuesday. We don't know that date. He says Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the university was closed. So if he finished on Monday, he's not had time. The school has not had the 48 hours to submit that paperwork. He says Tuesday, Wednesday, the university was closed, and then there was today. So officially, I'm told, unless he requests out, so you're saying there's a chance he will go in tomorrow. Sorry for the confusion on all this. Everyone had a different timeline on this, but I'm told tomorrow sometime, unless the kid says otherwise. So again, we've talked about this throughout the course of the last week or so. I think the longer this plays out, the more likely it is that Mike Matthews enters the portal. Why is that? Because if it was about Nico entering the portal, if he had cold feet about Nico leaving, that's all been cleared up. Nico is back, and I think he would have immediately pulled those papers out. If it was about playing time, even if it was about money, I think they've had enough time to work things out where Mike Matthews could have just said, hey, I'm not going to enter the portal. You don't need the University of Tennessee to do that. You don't need a business day to do that. Mike Matthews can do that at any time. So that's hopefully some clarification for those of you that are confused. The bottom line is I do think Mike Matthews ends up in the portal. So where do we go from here? Because if he is in the portal, you're returning Chris Brazzell next year. You're returning Braylon Staley next year. That's it. Chris Brazzell had 29 catches, 333 yards, and 2 touchdowns this season. Braylon Staley only played in 2 games, has 3 catches for 21 yards. We've talked about some of the targets in the transfer portal. I mentioned Malik Benson earlier today. If you missed the video this morning, Go back and give it a watch. Florida State wide receiver has 1 year of eligibility left. Looks like he's going to try to set up a visit to Tennessee. We've talked about Zachariah Branch, wide receiver from USC. 5-star prospect coming out of high school, number 4 overall player, number 1 wide receiver. Tennessee is going to take a big swing here for him and his brother Zion. We've talked about how Brew McCoy is going to be involved. Nico Iamala, easy for me to say. Nico Iamaleava's dad is heavily involved there. So Tennessee is going all in, according to Pete Nakos of On3, to try to get Zachariah and his brother Zion in the boat. Now, a former Vol commit is officially in the portal. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about who. But first, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for me. Smash the thumbs up just below the video. It's quick, free, easy. It helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. If it's your first time here on the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts or insiders here. We're not media reporters. We don't pretend to be that. What we are is what you are, for the fans, by the fans. We are fans here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. If you like it, subscribe, click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Right now, I'm live every Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We play EA Sports College Football 25, and we talk all things Tennessee football. We'll also do some impromptu streams, man. Stuff picks up in the portal, recruiting. We'll jump on here and go live, so make sure you're dialed in so you don't miss out. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about this. Came out on Twitter. Hayes Fawcett, Alabama true freshman wide receiver Amari Jefferson plans to enter the transfer portal. He tells On3 Sports he will have 4 years of eligibility remaining. He's 6 foot, 197 pounds, Alabama wide receiver. But let's rewind time not too long ago. He was a 4-star prospect coming out of high school. He was named Tennessee's D2 AAA Mr. Football after amassing over 1,400 yards and 20 touchdowns on 74 receptions in 2023. If you go back, you remember he was heavily recruited by Tennessee. He was at one time committed to the ball baseball program and Tony Vitello. He committed to them on June the 21st of 2021. He got a scholarship offer to play football in July of 2022. Visited that September, that October, took multiple visits in 2023. It came down to the wire. It was Tennessee. It was Alabama. And he took 2 last unofficial visits, almost trying to make that decision. He visited Tennessee on July the 28th. He visited Alabama on July the 29th, ultimately ends up committing to Alabama on August the 5th of 2023. You got to remember, he committed to Nick Saban. He didn't commit to Kalen DeBoer, but that coaching change happens, and he elects to stay on at Alabama. Here's a quote directly from Amari Jefferson. He says, just the Nick Saban staff, I was really close with them. With them leaving, I really thought getting in the portal was the best thing for me. Now, here's a quote that he gave to On3. He says, who's going to have his interest? This is the quote he gave On3. Definitely the schools that were close in my recruitment: Miami, Tennessee, South Carolina. Those schools, those were the ones that were close in my recruitment. I kept up with all those schools. They all had really good years. Miami, South Carolina barely missed the playoffs. Talked about Tennessee making the college football playoff. Here's a update from Steve Wiltfong just as soon as this news came out. Steve Wiltfong says, we expect Tennessee to be involved here. The Vols did make the college football playoff and are looking for depth in the receiver room. Jefferson is quickly trending towards Tennessee in the On3 RPM, the recruiting prediction machine. So a former Vol baseball commit, Amari Jefferson, jumps into the portal, and it sounds like Tennessee is trending early in that one. So we'll continue to follow it. And again, a lot of guys leaving this wide receiver room. You count Brew McCoy, you count Dante Thornton, who are out of eligibility, and then you look at the guys that are entering the portal. And yes, the number is 8. That's a lot of guys. Your wide receiver room is empty. But the disappointing thing, and I talked a lot about this in the morning video. Again, if you missed it, go back, check it out. Talked about Kelsey Pope. The disappointing thing is you landed some elite guys, right? Nathan Laycock was ranked 75th overall, 4-star wide receiver. You landed Caleb Webb, Chaz Nimrod, some guys that you had high expectations for. There is a lack of development or a lack of or a misfire on your evaluation. There is something going on there, and it's easy to speculate and point fingers and say this is what happened. Something's off at that wide receiver room. Are you ready to move on from Kelsey Pope, or are you saying let's restock the cupboard and let's see if we can mirror what we did with that secondary in 2024? Let's see if we can mirror that with the wide receiver room in 2025, because we heard how Tennessee wanted to add speed and athleticism on the back end, and I think they did that. I think our corners were locked down corners. I think we need to continue to improve our safety play. We'll see how Jacoby Thomas plays out in year 2 in this Tim Banks defense. But let's see what happens with this wide receiver room. Again, the On3 article said Tennessee going to be big spenders in the portal. Haven't seen that yet. But then we heard from Austin Price of BallQuest said it's going to be January is when Tennessee is going to spend that money. Wanted to jump on and make another quick video. And again, I wanted to try to clarify things on the Mike Matthews deal. Hopefully that made sense to you. Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about it. As always, smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. I would greatly appreciate it. You want to support this channel, you like what we do, go grab the merchandise, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Hit that join button down below. It's $1 to become a member of this channel. You are what keep us going. You allow us to do this, make content, make videos every single day. Without your support, we couldn't do it. There is a link in the description below as well to do that. But that is going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.